You listen to the AZ Wildcats podcast brought to you by DraftKings, America's #1 sportsbook app. Now, joined by ex-NBA player, ex-Memphis Tiger legend, and the father of starting small forward for the University of Arizona, Cedric Henderson. How you doing there, Ced?
I'm doing pretty well. Yourself?
Not too bad. Not too bad. First, wanted to talk a little bit about your son and just the demeanor that he has had, because that's really something that I think has struck a lot of people throughout, in that you watch him, he doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, always has kind of a smile on his face, whether he was coming off the bench, whether he was starting. Has that always kind of been his demeanor?
Yeah, he's a very just a good-spirited guy. You know, he's one of those guys you love to have as a teammate. You know, he's always been kind of laid back, enjoys the game, and just having fun. And he loves to compete. Now, don't get him wrong. He's a competitor, but he's just an all-around nice guy, though. You know what I mean? Just like he just wants positivity as much as possible. I really, really applaud him for that.
Now, has he always on the basketball court? The other thing that's kind of stuck out for a lot of people, he's kind of a jack of all trades for Arizona. Can play some perimeter defense, can get you some rebounds, can make your three-point shot, pretty heady passer as well. He kind of checks off every single box right there. Has he always kind of been that well-rounded guy?
Well, you know, he's been a thin kid. So, you know, we had to try to figure things for him, you know, as a basketball player, what can you do? And I said, well, you can do a lot of good things. So let's just try to make sure you're doing work on, you know, all aspects of the game. And he took heed to that. You know, he said, I got to rebound. You know, I want to play defense. I want to be, you know, all these things. You know, people challenge him in a lot of different ways. So he kind of took it up. And then I started watching him, like, you know, he became like you know, just one of those jack of all trades, like you said, you know, a guy you can stick at the small four, you might stick at the four, can play some perimeter at the two sometimes, and that gives him more chances to play with different squads on the floor. You know what I mean? We get different units, you know, depending on what you need.
What was it like for him growing up? Because, again, not a lot of people have a father who, you know, is following Penny Hardaway at Memphis, obviously a big deal, goes off and plays in the NBA. What was his, you know, his childhood as far as, you know, basketball and hoop? Because, again, he had a front row seat to an NBA player.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, I never pressured him to play the game. I know I always told him, you know, treat sports and choose the things he did, especially as he was young. I allowed him to play a lot of different sports. He was very good at soccer for a while. He enjoyed a little baseball here and there, but I let him just try out all the things. And then one day he just said, hey, I want to really get into basketball. And then, I said, okay, I'll teach you what I know. And he took it from there, and he's a sponge. It was difficult here in Memphis because, you know, like you said, everybody's like, you know, that's your dad. You know, you need to do this. He's found his own identity. And that's one thing I give him credit for. He doesn't let that pressure of trying to compete with whatever I did around here bother him.
Before we get back to Ced Jr. here for a second, I had a lot of people who wanted me to ask you about yourself growing up there a little bit, you know, playing. Were you always kind of precocious when it came to basketball? Did basketball, you know, did it kind of come easy for you? What was your childhood like with regards to basketball?
Well, mine was a little different. Basketball was like one of the things the neighborhood kids all did. So that's what we kind of draw to that sport. So it was very, you know, put in my life early. But I didn't play organized basketball till probably about 8th grade year. But it helped that I grew, you know, a couple of inches over the summer. And but then it became real competitive, you know. And then, you know, back then, you know, you had to go play everywhere in the city. So that's what we did around here in Memphis. You know, you had to go to all the gyms and play competitive basketball. And at that time, like you said, you had Elliot Perry, who first went from Memphis to the NBA. Then you had
long socks,
socks, right?
Yeah.
Then you had Anthony Hardaway. You probably don't remember this guy, Sylvester Ford. He was a McDonald's All-American when I was there. You know, and then you had to start playing those competitive games. So it was, at the time, it was, you know, like you had to prove your game. I mean, because you wanted to be a good guy in Memphis basketball, you had to go out there and show it. It wasn't no fake fantasy type stuff. So
okay, so you get to Memphis then. You get to Memphis, and obviously right on the heels of, you know, Penny Hardaway doing his thing and becoming, a lot of people are calling him Magic Johnson 2.0 at that time. When you get to Memphis, though, what were your expectations? What was it like? Because you also came with some fanfare as well.
Oh, yeah. The expectation was to, it was a nice recruiting class. It was to win, to get it to the NCAA tournament. Kind of had the pressure of keeping the team going in the right direction because, like you said, Anthony Hardaway put a light on the University of Memphis at the time of who he was. So to keep that going was a little pressure here in the hometown because the Memphis fans are a little different. They hardcore around here a little bit. But it's nice though. It was nice then. But it was good that we were pressured to that. I mean, like you have a different type of sense of things because there wasn't no NBA team around here at the time. It was just
Right.
it was Tigers. So the pressure was there, but it wasn't as bad though. It was good. You know, the challenge was there of trying to produce. You know, you had a lot of expectations, and I think I did well with it. You know, I didn't get overzealous with it. I knew who I was, and then we started picking up a pretty good team. Then when we picked up Lorenzen, David Vaughn, guys made a decent little run in the NCAA in those years, which was awesome. You know, it was fantastic to be able to play with a winning team. So, but it was different. You know, it was a little bit of a high as far as number wise where you can be because Penny was so, you know, all American, all that type stuff.
He was an icon.
Oh yes, he was.
Yeah,
he was a superstar, right? Rock star, right? So you know, I never tried to measure myself with that. You know, I just said, hey, we're just going to win ball games and find out who else because. You know, it was just a different type of player. He's way different than what I was. You know, I was more of a slasher, defender, spot up shooter type guy who can run the floor. I mean, Penny had, like you said, Magic Johnson's ability to dribble and do all those great things.
So, all right. So you've been playing. You got 5-6 years in the NBA. What was it like then? You know, especially as Cedric's coming up and whatnot. Were you able to impart some of that wisdom on him because he definitely seems to have an old soul out there. He seems to the game. He grasps the game very quickly. It seems.
Well, you know, he's a student of the game. I give him credit for what he does. He watches basketball, which is very unique for young guys these days to actually study the game. But I do give him some advice and tell him some things, and he takes heed to it. He's a very coachable young man. Even when I coached him myself, it was like a sponge, and he's absorbing it. And I tell him the experiences of all the different roles. You know, when even this year, he's been coming off the bench. He's been in this role, and I say, hey, it's your job. You know, your responsibility to excel in whatever aspect of the game you have to do. And he has a great feel to the game. He has a great pace. He seems like he's very comfortable once he figures it out. He, like you said, an old soul to it. You know, he's old school kind of. I guess that kind of rubbed off,
right?
Playing around us old guys all the time, but he understands the game. You know, and I give him a lot of credit for that. You know, just himself, who's studied the game and watched the games, and he tries to, understand that you can't let your high get too high, your low get too low. You know, the old school mottos. You know, you got to keep a poise and do your job. So he sticks to those rules.
What I found particularly intriguing about him when he came in is a lot of times when you get guys from smaller schools, they put up a lot of numbers, but you're not really sure, how that translates. What really stuck out to me is you're dropping 18 and 11 on Duke, and you clearly look like one of the better players on the court. Same thing against VCU, the two best teams that they played against last year. So, in a weird way, I'm not totally surprised by this because last year, and you know this better than anybody, he played his best against the best competition.
Oh yeah, he took on the challenge, and he wanted it those type of challenges. He wanted to show people that he can play. I love like I said, he's a very good competitor. He kind of plays with a little chip on his shoulder, and he wants to win. That's one thing I love about him. He wants to win, and he's going to do the right things to try to win basketball games. And when those challenges came, if you're going to say you're going to try to compete against those guys, you got to do it. And
right,
he does it. It's no fairy tale story to it. So it is what it is. So he does a good job when he sees those opportunities to step up. And I think he had great games against both those teams, shot the ball well, did all the little things. I was just real proud of what he did because you never know. And like you said earlier about a mid-level guy going to a bigger program, the question was going to be out there. And I think he understood that going into this situation.
Right. All right. Carrie Brody with a great question right here, where she said, how did Tommy Lloyd find you? How did this recruiting process go, back and forth? Because again, Junior had some options.
First, he found me through Jack Murphy and Jason Gardner. You remember Josh Pastner used to
Josh Pastner at Memphis, absolutely.
Yeah. Used to be head coach, and it was kind of ironic. I knew Jack Murphy pretty well. We kind of stayed in the same area, and then Jason kind of reached out to me first, and then that's how the conversation started. It's not like I didn't know of those guys. So when they reached out, we started talking and say got to contact with Tommy to find us, which was pretty cool. And that's how that went. So it's so simple as that. It's just, Jack was like, "Hey, Sid, look,
Right.
I know your son is in the portal right now." I was like, "All right, yeah," because we really didn't think Arizona was coming because I thought one kid um, was on the fence. I don't know
Right.
who it was, but so we were looking, but Jason reached out and said, "Hey, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk." So that's how that kind of went.
All right, so let's talk about the team success because I'll be honest with you. When Arizona last year was in the top 5 pretty much all year, you lose Benedict Mathurin, you lose Dalen Terry, you lose Christian Coloco, 3 NBA guys. I thought they would take a step back. I'll be honest with you. I thought they'd be more something like 15 to 20, but here you are right back in. You've been in the top 5 to 10 pretty much all season. What were your, just from from an outsider's perspective, what did you expect from this team, if any expectations?
I didn't have any expectations of the team. I just knew that Tommy when I just listened to him as a coach, I thought he had a good philosophy and his approach to the game. I didn't know what the team was going to make of because, I didn't know everybody like that. But
Right.
as I watched the team, I started watching them play. And I think Maui really caught my attention down there. I mean, it was early. So he was like, wow, this is pretty good right here. So, like I said, I didn't know what this team was going to be like. I knew they were I was kind of assuming they'll be in the top 15 or somewhere around there just because of what they did last year. But I think they're doing a great job this season. I think the team has gelled pretty well as it has grown every time I watch them play. They have so many different dynamics of combinations they can put on the floor. It's kind of like fun to watch. The expectations now is going to get a little bit different because now you're seeing a team that can probably do some things.
Right. Now, watching your son, so he's in the starting lineup now, and he's coming off some of his best games of the season right now. Do you, just from a Pop's perspective, do you sense a comfort level with him right now? Because it looks like each game he's taken his game up a little bit more of a notch. And, just watching it looks like he's feeling pretty comfortable right now.
Well, that's the blessing of it. I think he is getting comfortable to the game. I think he's trying to find out, what his niche is, what his roles are. And that helps. That helps with everybody. And then confidence, has always kind of been there. One thing about him, he's going to compete. And I think he's just saying, hey, I like this. I'm getting used to the guys. I'm getting used to the role. I'm getting used to the time, and all those things matter. I've been enjoying watching him. I'm proud of what he's been doing. I mean, it's been real fun. I mean, he's shooting the ball pretty good from the 3-point line. I think he's starting to look for his mid-range a little bit more, which is pretty nice.
Right.
And just running the floor and being an athlete. I don't think people still don't understand he can be an athlete yet. I think he got to show that part a little bit more.
Right. But it's certainly coming around in that regard. What has your advice been from him? Because again, not a lot of players have an NBA father that they can, lean on through. What has your advice been throughout the year? Because it's been, coming off the bench, coming off the bench. Now he's in a permanent role as starting. What have you told him?
I just told him always to be positive, do what they ask of you and take advantage of your opportunities. And I think he does. He's doing the greatest, the best he can do, whatever they ask of him. And I just say, this is a team game. A lot of people don't understand that part of it either. It's a team game, and sometimes your role is going to be different. I want to say Tommy said it best one night. He's like, sometimes you're not going to shoot the ball all the time. There's other jobs you can do, and that's part of basketball. And when you can understand that concept, it makes things a little easier, And then, I think he's earning their trust, and I think that helps a little bit with the guys, the coaches, and all those things, because it takes time. This is our first year of marriage, as I say, with a team. Right. So it takes time to earn trust and all those good things. And I think he's doing those things because they're seeing, him working hard. He's being competitive. He's been a great teammate. He's always positive, like you said. I mean, like I said, he's contagious, and it's rewarding him.
Right. All right. Cedric Henderson Sr. again. Just wanted to have you on again because your kid's a rock star. He's playing great ball, and I can tell you that everyone around the program is incredibly impressed with him.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's a great compliment. I can't got a big smile on my face now. I feel good.
Right. He's Cedric Henderson. Again, my man, we'll be in touch with you throughout the year. And again, thanks a ton for your time. Really appreciate it.
No problem, man. You have a blessed one.
All right. You as well. Thanks again. And we're going to talk a lot about what Henderson had to say right there, because there's some really cool stuff to be able to take away from there. But a couple things first. The 4 peaks. All right. You might say to yourself, Mike, I'm tired of hearing about the 4 peaks, but You're not tired of hearing about the Four Peaks Brewery, though, the official brew of PHNX Sports. Check it out, downtown location, or you can come to the Tap and Bottle watch parties and get Four Peaks as well. Check out the show notes and the link in the description. But again, Four Peaks, great stuff. Kilt lifter, you name it, they got it. Very, very good stuff. And Tap and Bottle. Not this week, but next week we're going to be having a Tap and Bottle watch party. So we'd love for you all to show up down there. It's a great time. Have some Four Peaks down there. Drink a little beer. Have some fun. Watch Arizona take out UCLA and USC, hopefully for that #1 seed right there. And, we can sit there and we can have a good time as well. But again, Tap and Bottle downtown. Would love to see all of you down there. All right, what Tommy Lloyd has been able to do, and I think Cedric Henderson is a perfect example of this, is Lloyd is going for fit over volume. Give you a perfect example. Look at Keon Brooks, kid that is at Washington right now. Arizona was looking at him, and said Henderson Sr., referenced it a little bit earlier. But I would rather have Cedric Henderson for a very simple reason. Sure, Keon Brooks is putting up a ton of points at Washington, but that is almost more of a showcase where you can tell where Tommy Lloyd is trying to get players. He's trying to get the guys that fit in well. Sure, some games you might have 15, other games you might have 7. It doesn't really matter because you're playing winning basketball right there. And that's what he's been able to do with these guys. And again, Courtney Ramey and Cedric Henderson are perfect examples. Everybody likes to see somebody out there that's getting, their 19 points per game, whatever the case may be, but it might not be a winning 19 points per game. You watch right now, you watch how Cedric Henderson's playing. He's playing winning basketball. And again, you got to give a real tip of the cap to his father as well, because it's not easy for, anybody that's, has an NBA background. You want your kid to play. You want your kid to start. I'll be honest with you. Believe it or not, I did not have an NBA background. Many people think I did. They are wrong. Nobody actually thinks that. But I can imagine, though, watching your kid, you're like, all right, I'd like to see him out there more. I'd like to see him out there more. But this is how you do it, though. And this is what this family has been able to do, in that he got in here. He's had a role. And as he gains more trust, as Tommy Lloyd likes more and more of what he's seeing, he's continued to impress. And I think that's where you really got to tip your cap to Cedric Henderson and to what this entire, this entire roster, this entire makeup has been able to do. Because, again, it's unique. I think in the past, and again, there's nothing wrong with this, but we're used to seeing guys who, you go after the 5 stars, you go after the players like this. And this is a little bit of a different approach, and it's something that I think is working. All right. Now, let me tell you something about this. We're past Valentine's Day right now. And, all right, a lot of people out there, a lot of men looking to have better sex lives. All right. And mention right now, you can get up to many men, 50% are wanting more in their life right there. Roman is here to help. All right. Roman is the digital clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps maintain a strong erection. A lot of people are using it right now. You can see around, and the reason people are using it is because it works. Again, it works. In men with low T, getting testosterone levels back to normal can help increase your libido. Roman offers a testosterone test, which includes lab processing, and it's appropriate for you. Treatment for low testosterone. Okay. Now, again, a lot of people are using this, and there's a reason. You can get it in the wipes. You name it, they've got it. Again, to learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to I'm reading this for the first time, so there's a little bit of go to ro.com/PHNX to get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/PHNX. Again, check it out. It works. As you get older, you're a sports fan, your body testosterone levels drop a little bit. Roman can help you. And Candlin. Not everybody has out there what they need to have, and Candlin is here to help. G-Rod, great point right there. But Candlin is out there as well. Again, a lot of kids in Phoenix don't have what they need to be able to be successful. Candlin's there. Again, check it out. Candlin, show notes and the link in the description. There's a lot of underprivileged kids out there that could use a little bit of help. Candlin is there. It's a nonprofit. That's what it's there for. Check it out. Be the better person for it. Okay, now, Arizona basketball. You got USC, you got UCLA, and you got ASU coming up this week. I expect Arizona to blast ASU. I think that ASU stinks. I fell into the trap, and I'm not going to do it again, buying in that this year was Bobby Hurley's good year. Again, no matter how much time Jacob Franklin takes off or what Jacob Franklin wants to do, you can only mask so much. ASU is not good. I expect Arizona to roll, but then you've got the other schools coming to town, or you're going to UCLA and USC. If Arizona beats UCLA, I believe it's a number 1 seed. I believe that is locked up. And who would not like to be a number 1 seed when Las Vegas is one of the options right there? SC is also probably a tournament team. You can't take any of these for granted, but as the old adage goes, this is kind of a one day at a time type situation here for Arizona. You got to be able to get there, and you got to be able to win in the manner in which Arizona can to get that number 1 seed, because you look around the rest of college basketball, and it's pretty impressive what Arizona's done. Yes, everybody's dropping games. Totally get that, but we're in a different era right now. And Tommy Lloyd, in my opinion, should be the National Coach of the Year ×2. It won't happen, but that's what I would do. All right, now, before we sign off here, More Furniture, morfurniture.com. I made a mistake of getting something not from More Furniture, and I'm still kicking myself for doing it. This TV stand behind me, it took 6 hours for somebody to assemble it. More Furniture would have had none of that right there. They've got great furniture. They've got for all shapes and sizes right there. It's good prices. It's customer friendly. Check it out. The show notes and the link in the description. morfurniture.com. Again, check that one out. And Mountain Mike's Pizza. I am not Mountain Mike, but Oracle and Wetmore Mountain Mike has great pizza, great pepperonis, you name it. And you can go there, and it's a great TV setup. It's a great drinks setup. It's a pretty cool spot. Again, check it out, Oracle and Wetmore, Mountain Mike's Pizza, and you can also many times catch them at the Tap and Bottle Watch Party. All right, going to sign off right now. We got Kyle Dodd coming back on tomorrow. ASU color commentator Kyle Dodd. Really looking forward to that one. Appreciate all of your guys' input right there. Ced Henderson Sr., you're the man. We'll try to have you on again before the season's over. But again, I'm Mike Luke signing off. We'll be back with you tomorrow. You've been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.